Greetings, survivors and friends, I'm Shadowfrax, this is your weekly Rust update, and first of all, in the last episode, I showed you the shape of things to come, and that shape was shaped like a bow. A compound bow, no less, and this week it's been added to the staging branch so I can show you all the ins and outs. On a basic level, it works like a standard one with a similar rate of fire, however, the longer you hold down the button, the further back you pull, and the more power and distance your arrow will gain, as shown by the strength meter beneath the handy sight. Only problem is, if you move, it resets, so it's not going to help you if you've got restless legs. Good news is, though, it's a default blueprint, workbench level 1, but as you might imagine, costs a bit more than your bog standard twanger at 100 wood, 75 frags, and 2 rope. Highly likely that this will be in the next forced wipe on 2nd of August, so look out for it then. Another area that's started to advance recently is that of farming, and if it's one part of the game that you don't really bother with, then that could change soon. Or maybe not. Those are the two options. As shown last week, our plants now have their very own information panels on staging, visible when we look at them, and this will let us know their age, progress, hydration, and yield. Maybe you don't care at all about this stuff, but as growing your own food may become a much more important mechanic at some point, you might want to get your hands dirty sooner rather than later. Talking of which, a new related item is in the works, the Composter, and we don't know an awful lot about this one yet, apart from the obvious throwing in of unwanted scraps of food and limbs in one end and presumably the getting of compost out the other. Whether there's more to it than that remains to be seen, but I will of course let you know when I know. Something else that should hopefully be finally making it into the game next week is of course the Bandit Town monument, or anti-compound. The final touches being made at the moment having to do with the inhabitants themselves. Although I don't have any mugshots of them to show you, I'm reliably informed that they'll look a lot more like semi-geared players instead of angry green science teachers. Their attitudes might also be a bit more relaxed when it comes to what you're allowed to do around their gaff, as long as you don't damage them or their property of course, but this is still to be confirmed and we should know all the details next week. Apart from that, underwater foliage is receiving an overhaul and the briny deep will soon have its very own flora to replace the temporary assets we've been putting up with. Work started on an underwater vegetation branch, and I'm sure we'll see some visuals for this before too long. And from underwater vegetation to underwear. Do you remember these items from the last Rust Autumn Winter collection? Well, work started on a new alternative option for censorship earlier in the year, as despite heavy pixelation, the demonetization police were still giving some YouTubers the wedgie. I must emphasize this doesn't replace pixelation. The brief is just to give support to content creators by providing an alternative. That's about all I have for you this week, but the big update and forced wipe will be next Thursday, so brace yourselves for that. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also come and join me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group, and I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio.